Welcome, gentlemen, to Ask Hypnotica 75. And I just got back from Belize down in South America, a wonderful time. But it ties in perfectly with this question that I received from Zach, who's from Denmark. And he says he has a question about body language. He says, as you probably know, a lot of dating coaches advise people to display high status body language, i.e., take up lots of space and engage in power poses of some kind. We are told not to lean in, etc. Stupid advice. Okay, like whoever book. And let me give you a little hint, okay? I know lots of guys. I can say there's about 6 or 7 guys that I respect in that whole dating industry because they know what they're doing. Most of the guys, they don't have a clue. Okay, they're marketing you. They've read someone else's material that didn't know probably what the hell they were talking about, and they're rehashing it to you. And a lot of this is complete bullshit. Like if you could layer on like a cake bullshit and they're feeding it to you and you're biting it, okay, this is what we're talking about. Okay, women are very intuitive. They look around and they can see when a man is not confident. Okay, he's not cool in his skin. He's not comfortable in his skin. He's not comfortable in his sexuality. He feels like he has to compensate by who he is and puff himself up. Now, it's weird. It works in nature to a degree. Like they put on these rituals. But with all the people that I've thought, and I'm telling you right now, I'm probably in the 1% in this whole entire planet who has seen more body language, running strip clubs for 24 years and watching the seduction and that play go on and on between men and women and men, okay? Not too many people, and running nightclubs, not too many people have seen how I think body language should really be, okay? So when they're talking about like this, take up lots of space. Think about this. Would you rather take up lots of space? Like think about if you're a woman and you're looking at a man and he's trying to take up lots of space. He's trying to be bigger than he is. He's not comfortable in his body. He looks like an idiot too, okay? And he looks stupid. That's the bottom line it is, okay? He looks like he's fake. Compared to when I talk about like when I just got back from Belize. I was watching, okay? And I was just watching the Belize men and they're confident in their skin. That's a different culture altogether. It's amazing because I'm like these guys are different. I was talking to a woman that I met down there, and I'm like, see, American men are more like, and we're kind of taught this way. Okay, so we're going to go a lot into psychology here. Especially now in America, we're taught, through women's lib and stuff like that, that you can't really be sexual. You can't be really forward, okay? It's like a lot of guys are fearful of doing that, being labeled creepers or, rape or whatever it is, okay? But so on that level, men are almost afraid to come out and be sexual or have sexual intention towards women. Whereas in Belize, it was different. These men, I could see there, and maybe it was just because where I was at, lots of tourists come in. They were like, hey, how many tourists can we actually have sex with? Maybe it's a little bit more fun. But I was watching them, and I was fascinated by it because I'm fascinated by people. But the way that they were talking to women is they were so grounded, they were so connected, they were so right there with the woman that it's like the American or the tourist, they didn't know how to handle it because it broke a pattern because they're used to maybe American guys or people that are a little bit more standoffish, okay, because maybe A, they don't know what they're doing, they don't feel comfortable in their body, or they don't know how to put across a sexual vibe. Whereas the Belizean men, they were more connected, and it was fascinating to watch. I told the girl this, I go, the Belize men are much more confident in their energy and their confidence in their sexuality. And so if a woman's looking at a man who's trying to be, what you said, take up lots of space, and a guy who's completely grounded in his sexuality, he becomes almost like, I think here's a word that I created, it's called magnectricity. Okay, think about that. It's magnetic, yet he's got that electricity of the aura, which expands. My word, okay, magnectricity. It's something that you might want to install. But when you have that, like women are drawn to it, and there's energy there, there's passion, there's intensity, okay? And these are very important things when it comes to this. Now, I'm going to talk about a couple other things. Taking up space, engage in power pose. Okay, guys look nothing, stupid. Like when I see guys like posing up and posturing, and they're like, I see a couple of ones where the guys are like, put your, like, and it's like, it's so dumb to me because they're not comfortable in their body. This is why, I do a lot of meditation stuff through my CDs and a lot of hypnosis stuff in my CDs as far as like getting a man comfortable in his own sexuality with his body, mind, and spirit. Because you may have your body, you think you're posturing up, but your mind and your spirit is not completely aligned. So you look like an idiot, basically. So I think it's important that if you're being relaxed. Like, it's weird because I get women that say this a lot to me. They're like, you just have this, like, you're grounded in your masculinity, your sexuality. And I am, because I can stand there like this and I'm just chill, but I'm just relaxed in my body. I'm just like relaxed, and I have my little stance, and I'm chilling. I'm enjoying being centered in my own gravity, so I can relax and stuff like this, whereas a lot of guys can't do that, or they try too hard. And so this thing's so really uncomfortable. There we go. So by working the body, mind, and the spirit, as you condition your mind to believe the beliefs that are going to make you feel more sexier or more powerful or more magneticity style through your body, it comes off in the nonverbals. And remember, like, only 7% of the communication is the verbal. It's like 93% is really the nonverbals, what's going on. So if you don't feel comfortable, if you don't have the right beliefs in your head, if you haven't done the meditations, like a lot of sexual meditations, like, you could do like the ahs and the ums and the ohs and the, all the getting your vibrating body. Okay, there's exercises and there's meditations that I do that help a man get there. If you're not working on all these levels, you're not going to come across too powerful. You're going to come across as fake. Now, leaning in, this is an interesting one, because actually, let me read this a little bit more, because it's going to tie into. He said, not late, okay. But I've been reading a book called Love Signals by David Gibbons, PhD. And he talks about engaging in occasional submissive displays in order to show harmlessness. Now, David Gibbons, PhD, means he probably piled higher and deeper. Okay, PhDs, in my opinion, the ones that I've met, okay, are pretty fucked up with women. Okay, I think they study people because they're fucked up in their own head. They don't get it. Now, first of all, like, submissiveness is a terrible thing in a man. Now, a man can be confident in his safety. A man can be, grounded and not put off, let's just say, like an aggressive vibe. Okay, he can be there, but being submissive, to me, is the wrong thing. Okay, well, like I said, I've watched more interactions than most people, like I said, on the planet. So I'm coming from a place of authority on this. Take submissive out of. Don't even talk about that. Okay, David Gibbons, shut the fuck up. Okay, to show harmlessness. This is a big no-no to most dating experts, which I agree with that. So my question is the advice of most dating experts based on over-masculinity, overcompensation, or should it be followed? My basis for being skeptical is that submissive displays are found in courtships and many other animals such as birds, gorillas, crocs, blah, blah, blah. Okay, and here's, why I think a lot of these are in nature? Because nature, okay, you really don't get let's just say a child support check. Okay, if you're an alligator, you fuck the chick, you do your best display. Okay, there's the higher functioning, it's not there thinking. Okay, but it's primal. If you go out there and you have sex, you're not going to be on the line for 18 years. Okay, like animals that are men in nature, you usually just walk off. So I want you to understand a little bit about what you call the submissiveness. Okay, the safety. Now, and I'm going to come from examples. All right, safety. If you're wanting to get laid, okay, or if you want to meet the maximum number of women that are going to respond to you, okay, does not work. Safety doesn't, okay? It's more friendship. It's more like you're there on your level, but you're not being dominant. You're not being assertive. Okay, you're more kind of opening up. And this is where I say the American culture kind of comes across like this, because men are terrified about being labeled a stalker or whatever it is. Right now, the men that I witness, okay, that are part of the master circle, if you've ever seen that on my website, okay, these are the men that were just the best with women. Okay, they aren't pickup artists, but every single one of them has, and myself included, because when I was younger, young, dumb, full of cum, I was more assertive. Okay, I would be more in a woman's space. And when you're more in a woman's space, I've watched these guys, okay, they get in there a little bit. It's almost to that point where there's like this uncomfortability in them, okay, because you're presenting yourself a little bit more sexually, intentions coming across subconsciously or consciously, or even in your thought intention of what's going across. I can say hands down, when I was more of a run and gunner, and that means like, I was more just like assertive in my nature, it worked all the time to watch a woman respond to that. And as I matured or leveled up, okay, now I'm age 45, and I've become much more selective to a degree, I've backed off a little bit, because it's when you have that testosterone flowing, there's a different vibe, there's a different feel, and it's different for most men. And guys are going to go through this, right? It's one of those things, it's called the andropause. Your body just switches out of the energy. So when you're riding high in that energy, you can pull it off. It's more pick and choose as you level up. Whereas now, having done that in the past and having it integrated into my behavior, I can do it anytime I want. Yet I choose on that level. And so if I want to go in there, then I know what to do to get that result. And from all the times, and I have thousands of women friends, okay, from all the years that I've worked, and I've always been the safety guy. So on that level, safety does work, but it does not work as often, okay? If women feel comfortable with you and there's probably no other guy going on, or they're lonely, or it's just that time of the month where, it's like, you got to think of a woman to a degree like a flower. You never know when it's going to blossom. So by being friends with them, sometimes it could blossom and their hormones could be going up and you get lucky and you have sex with her. But it's not, and I'm generalizing here, okay? But it's not what women I've found really crave, and that's also a generalization. But in my experience over all the years with the countless women that I can't even go into, I found that all the ones where it was successful and they went on and I built this was all based upon the ability to be a little bit dangerous, let's just say, okay? But not dangerous in a way of like rape, pillage, and those nasty things, but more like you're stepping into your sexuality of saying, I'm cool with this, like I'm comfortable here. Are you comfortable here? And you have to find that balance, and it really has to do with calibration, because in our culture, especially in America, you have to be very aware of this. Like if I step in and I'm like, I'm gonna test the waters a little bit, and I get a little bit more in your face, and I can see that her nonverbals are not responding, okay, I can back out of it, and in her mind it could be a little bit, okay, what was that, okay, was it just was it me just thinking about that? And it's always good to leave that compared to you're there and you're being a little bit too intense. Now I've watched this, so like I said, there's no one right answer to this, because guys that have been intense, okay, have worked through that, and women basically give up and they're like, something clicks and all of a sudden they're attracted to them. So a lot of the guys that I've seen that are real assholes, I mean, we're talking about the real assholes. Matter of fact, I was talking to this girl, and there's a guy who they call him, the predator down in Belize and stuff, who's raped girls. But he's always on the street, and he's very intense. He's very in your face. It works to a degree, okay? But if it doesn't work, then these kind of guys, need to get put away. So the bottom line is this, you have to relax in your body. And you're going to relax in your body, like I said, through your mind, your body, and your spirit, to really get that unconscious, full spectrum, holistic sexuality moving through you. All right, that's super, super important. If you don't have your beliefs here, if you don't believe in yourself, if you don't believe that it's okay for you as a man to be sexy, you okay for a man to be assertive, you to go after what you want, and it's not worked out in your body, like one of the things that I really believe is, getting body work or being relaxed in your body, knowing your body. That's why things like football or wrestling, these are things that I did, okay, fighting to a degree, or, understanding my body through working out. Like I have a good connection with my body so I can feel comfortable. If I don't do any of that stuff and I don't have a firm commitment to what my body feels like, I'm gonna look weird. Okay, if I'm trying to relax, okay, my body could be tense or tight. That's why massage, deep tissue is good, because it allows you to relax. Calibration on yourself as well. Can you figure out, okay, what is your breathing like? Because a lot of guys are like, and they're trying to relax their body, but they're breathing up in their chest. Okay, when you really relax, you're really breathing from your diaphragm, and you're grounded and your energy's there, compared to like, lifting up and, breathing through your nose up a higher level. There's not that heart chakra or that root chakra that's really grounded. That's my esoteric talk there. But like I said, it really comes down to this. What is it that you want in your intention? You're going to have to, and I'm going to say this again, push the boundaries of what's uncomfortable. Not only for you in this culture, if you're living, well, actually you're living in Denmark, but it could be a little similar to America compared to, South America, where they're, the Brazilians and, the Belizemen that I watch, they're just more there. They don't really give a shit. It's just not really in their culture. So you're going to have to learn that. But the one thing, like I said, you really have to do is hone in on your calibration, because if you're moving in, then you can back off. Because if you haven't really come across that way and you just get in her space and she's not responding well to it and you can back off, in her mind, it could be like, oh, he recalibrated. Maybe he was just stepping a little closer. But if you're moving in and you see the eyes and all of a sudden you feel that, you got to be, like I said, it's like a sixth sense, and everyone's got it. You just got to be calibrated to it. And you feel her energy rise, and you push on a little bit, and you start testing the waters by going a little bit further deeper in her atmosphere, and it's working. And then you can get a little bit more suggestive and see how that goes. Now, if you get suggestive and it doesn't work out in your best way or your interest, maybe, this is a big maybe, okay, you could test it a little more, but you have to be very careful. The best way to do it is just back off and let it go neutral. And a lot of guys are afraid of that. They're afraid of being labeled a creeper and things like this, but it goes with the territory. If you're going to court at a higher level, if you're going to be this man who is sexually raw, fierce, present, if you want to go and get after what you want for your reasons, okay, which is completely fine, as long as you run across a person who's ready for that or is willing for that and things like this, and you don't force it. So that's what we're going to tie into, because it's basically like, you're a little bit skeptical. bottom line is, look, gorillas and all that shit, they can do that in nature. But from my experience, okay, and maybe, who knows, maybe we're just getting the little clips of people in nature. It's one of those things. I've never seen animals. They're always more aggressive, or more aggressive, assertive than they are passive. And maybe they could be passive. We don't know what's going on. Okay, we could be watching an animal and we're labeling it like submissive or passive. Okay, but who knows what the history of that animal is? We just get some National Geographic video and then we label it. So those are the bottom lines. If you don't feel comfortable in your body, practice. Not at the bar for the first time. Practice. Notice your breathing. Get to the point where you can, you can relax. Get to the point where you can move, where you're sitting in front of the mirror. And it's okay to be in front of the mirror. Like, there's been plenty of times I've been in front of the mirror and I'm just kind of like breathing and I'm feeling my body. And if you have the meditations, like say some of my Hypnotalks, okay? If you go to my website, there's those Hypnotalks. You could do a hypnosis thing standing up and listening to the music and moving your body and working it into your body, okay? Because that's really what you want to do to put off that body energy, okay? It's that body aura that is also attractive. So I know I'm kind of like all over the board, but this is not a simple yes/no answer, because it has to really do with the individual of who's doing the sexual communication. But don't buy into this submissiveness, okay? Man should never really be submissive to a degree. He can be confidently safe. She knows that she's safe in his presence, and he's gonna, maybe he'll joke around a little bit. He'll drop the seeds of seduction, as I say, and he can test that ground. But it's not coming from a place of like, I'm a complete submissive and I'm going to wait here and just make sure that you come after me because I'm going to be completely safe. That doesn't work. I haven't seen it work a very small percent of the time. So be okay with that. Just get your confidence together. Hopefully this helps you out on that level. And I'm proud of myself for coming back off vacation and getting right back to these Ask Hypnoticas. So I'm going to give myself a little pat on the back. So with that, remember, go out there, have a good time, and if you have a question, send it to askhypnotica@gmail.com, and I will talk to you soon, all right? Take care. Adios.